Welcome to Basic Electrical Engineering. In this lecture, we will discuss about the advantages, disadvantages, and applications of three-phase induction motor. So let's start. The advantages of three-phase induction motor. The construction of the three-phase induction motor is very simple and robust. The working of an induction motor is very simple. As if we recall, the induction motor operates based on the Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction. Its construction is simple and robust because there is no use of commutator and there is no use of slip rings also. It can operate at any environmental condition. That means at any different environmental condition, this motor can be easily be operated. The efficiency of this motor is very high compared to any other AC machines. The efficiency and compared to any AC and DC machines, the efficiency of this motor is very high. The starting torque of slip ring induction motor is very high, as we have already seen during the torque slip characteristics. If we add the external resistance to the rotor windings, then we can increase the starting torque and it can be make as the maximum starting torque also. But the problem is that it is not possible in case of squirrel cage induction motor. However, for slip ring induction motor, the starting torque can be very high. The maintenance of the induction motor is less compared to any other motor. As we have already mentioned, there is no commutator. Therefore, the maintenance requirement is very less. It is a single excited motor, so we need to supply only to the stator winding. Here, during the operating principle we have discussed, we have to supply the power to the three-phase stator winding, and the current in the rotor winding will be because of the induction. That's why this motor is considered as a single excited motor. The induction motor is a self-starting motor. Generally, the three-phase induction motor is a self-starting motor. So no extra arrangement is required to start the motor. However, the starting current is very high, therefore we have to limit the starting current. Then some extra arrangement is required, but this is only to maintain the starting torque, although the induction motor is a self-starting motor. The cost of the motor is less compared to other type of machines, that is the DC motors or synchronous motors. The cost of the induction motor is very less. The lifespan of this motor is very high. It can run for a very long period without any disturbance. Here, the armature reaction is less. Armature reaction means during the operation, a magnetic field is produced in the rotor also, and this magnetic field will oppose the main magnetic field that is produced in the stator winding. But in case of three-phase induction motor, it is negligible. We can consider almost zero. Now some disadvantages also. During the light load condition, the power factor of the three-phase induction motor is very less. As a result, it draw more current. So the copper loss is more, which reduce the efficiency during light load condition. That means the induction motor will be beneficial if we run it on full load condition or near to the full load condition. If we run the motor at no load or very low load condition, then the power factor will be very low, so the current will be very high. As a result, the copper losses will be very high and the efficiency will be reduced. For squirrel cage induction motor, the starting torque is low. As we have mentioned earlier, uh, we cannot add any external resistance to the rotor winding of the squirrel cage induction motor. Therefore, it is not possible to get high starting torque from a squirrel cage induction motor. The induction motor is a constant speed motor. So for the application where the variable speed required, this motor is not generally used. Uh, it is a very difficult uh, concept to control the speed of the motor. We have to use some special devices because the speed of the motor depends upon the frequency, and you have to control the frequency by using variable frequency drive or some other electronic devices. So generally the speed control is very difficult for three-phase induction motor, and it is considered as a constant speed motor. So the speed control is difficult. The induction motor has a very high starting inrush current. This causes a reduction in the voltage at the time of starting. As we have mentioned earlier, during starting condition, the three-phase induction motor draw almost 7 to 8 times of the rated current. So because of this high current, the voltage during the starting reduces. As a result, there will be huge amount of losses occurs during the starting condition, and therefore there may be a chances of burning the windings of the motor. Therefore, to control this high starting current, some extra devices are required so that the induction motor can be start with a controlled current. As we know that there are two types of induction motor, that is the squirrel cage induction motor and slip ring induction motor. Let's see the comparison between these two types of motors. First one is the construction. In case of squirrel cage induction motor, it is very simple and rugged, whereas in case of slip ring induction motor, it needs some slip rings, brushes, short circuiting devices, etc. The cost of the squirrel cage induction motor is less, whereas for slip ring induction motor it is more. The copper loss in the squirrel cage induction motor is small, so the efficiency is high, whereas the copper loss in slip ring induction motor is more, therefore the efficiency is comparatively low. The power factor of the squirrel cage induction motor is better compared to the slip ring induction motor, where the power factor is comparatively poor. The cooling process of the squirrel cage induction motor is better. For slip ring, it is not quite efficient. The speed regulation of the squirrel cage induction motor is better compared to the slip ring induction motor, because for slip ring induction motor, when the external resistances are connected, then the speed regulation of the motor is very poor. The starting torque of the squirrel cage induction motor is low with a very high starting current, whereas in case of slip ring induction motor, the starting torque can be increased by adding some external resistance, and also the current can be controlled. So the power factor of the squirrel cage induction motor during starting is very poor, whereas in case of slip ring induction motor, it can be improved by adding some external resistance. In case of squirrel cage induction motor, the speed control is not possible, or we can say it is very difficult. Where in case of slip ring induction motor, it is possible by adding the external resistance to the rotor circuit. So if we change the rotor winding resistances, then the speed can be controlled. So these are the comparisons between the squirrel cage induction motor and the slip ring induction motor. Let's do some numerical questions. Uh, but before that, we consider the applications of the squirrel cage induction motor. The squirrel cage induction motors are used in residential as well as industrial applications, especially where high starting torque and speed control of the motor is not needed. As we already see that in case of squirrel cage induction motor, the starting torque is low and the speed control is not possible. So this type of motors are used in applications like pump and submersible pumps, pressing machines, lathe machine, grinding machine, conveyor, flour mills, compressors, and other low mechanical power applications. So these are the applications of the squirrel cage induction motor. These are some applications. Now see the application of the slip ring induction motor. The slip ring induction motor are suitable for load requiring high starting torque and where a low starting current is required. Because in case of slip ring induction motors, the high starting torque can be obtained by adding the external resistance to the rotor circuit. As a result, the starting current can also be controlled. These are also used for the load having high inertia, which results in high energy losses. It is used for the load that require the speed control. So basically, the slip ring induction motor is used where the high starting torque is required as well as the speed variation is also required. So the applications of the slip ring induction motors are like conveyor, crane, lift, hoist, elevators, compressors, etc. So these are some applications of the slip ring induction motor, three-phase slip ring induction motor. Here we can remember one thing, we can recall the concept of the DC motor, where we can see that the DC shunt motor is also considered as a constant speed motor, whereas DC series motor is considered as a variable speed motor. Therefore, we can say that the squirrel cage induction motor is similar to the DC shunt motor. So their applications are also similar. Whereas the slip ring induction motor, it is a variable speed motor and also the starting torque is very high. It is equal to similar to the DC series motor. So the applications of the slip ring induction motor and the application of the DC series motor is similar. So in this way also you can conclude the applications for different type of motors. Now some numerical questions. So here is the first question. A 50 Hz 4-pole 3-phase induction motor has a rotor current frequency of 2 Hz. Obtain the slip and speed of the motor. So let's see the solution. We have already discussed that the frequency of the rotor during running condition is the product of slip and the supply frequency. So from this relation we can write slip is equal to F test upon F, that is the frequency of the rotor current upon the supply frequency. So here the slip will be 0.04 or it can be written as 4%. Now from the another slip relation, that is S is equal to Ns minus Nr upon Ns. Here the Ns is equal to the synchronous speed, that is 120 F upon P. So it can be solved by 120 into 50, it is the frequency, upon the number of pole 4, that is 1500 RPM. So from this slip relation, we can write NR is equal to NS into 1 minus S. So it will be 1500 into 1 minus 0.04. And after solving, we'll get the speed of the motor will be 1440 RPM. So this is the speed of the motor and this is the slip of the motor. Here is the next question. An 8-pole alternator run at 750 RPM and supply power to a 4-pole induction motor. The frequency of the rotor current frequency is 1.5 Hz. So determine the speed of the motor. Here alternator means the generator which produce the electrical energy, and then this electrical energy will be supplied to the induction motor. As we have already discussed during the theory part, that any AC machine is always follow the relation, that is F is equal to P into N by 120, or N is equal to 120 F upon P. This relation is applicable for any type of AC machine, including the alternator also, which is the three-phase synchronous generator, that is the AC generator. So first of all, we'll calculate the frequency of the power which is developed by this alternator. So the frequency of the alternator can be calculated as the number of pole of the alternator, that is 8, into the speed of the alternator, that is 750. The alternator is rotating with a speed of 750 RPM upon 120. So after simplify, we'll get the frequency as 50 Hz. So here the parameter of the alternator is basically used to calculate the frequency, supply frequency, which is basically fed to the induction motor. So the synchronous speed of the magnetic field in induction motors can be written as 120 F upon P. So it is 120 into 50 upon the pole of the induction motor is 4. So it will be 1500 RPM. Now again the slip will be equal to slip frequency of the rotor EMF upon the supply frequency, that is 1.5 upon 50, and after simplification it will be 0.03 or 3%. And the speed of the motor is ns into 1 minus s, that is 1500 into 1 minus 0.03, and we will get 1455 RPM. So this is the speed of the induction motor. Next question. A three-phase 50 Hz induction motor has a full load speed of 1460 RPM. To calculate the slip, number of poles, and frequency of the rotor induced EMF. So here is the solution. As we see that the relations between the frequency, number of pole, speed is by this. So here we can write P is equal to 120 F upon N. Let's put the value which is given, that is the speed of the motor is 1460 RPM. Now if we simplify this, the approximate value of the pole will be equal to 4. Remember, pole cannot be in decimal number. So it will be always a integer number. Therefore, it can be calculated by in this way and the value will be 4. Here we should remember one thing also. The synchronous speed will always be greater than the speed of the rotor. Here the speed of the rotor is 1460 rpm. So definitely the synchronous speed will be more than this value. So now calculate the synchronous speed of the rotating magnetic field by using this formula 120 F upon P, and here the value will be 1500 rpm. So you can see the synchronous speed is more than the speed of the rotor. Now the slip can be calculated as ns minus nr upon ns. So it will be 1500 minus 1460 upon 1500, and it will be 0.0267, or we can write 2.67%. So the frequency of the rotor induced EMF, that is F test, it is S into F. So the value of S is 0.0267 into the supply frequency is 50 Hertz. And after solving, we'll get the value as 1.33 Hertz. So this is the frequency of the rotor induced EMF. Next question. A three-phase 50 Hz induction motor has 6 poles and operate with a slip of 5% at a certain load. So determine the speed of the rotor with respect to the stator, frequency of the rotor current, speed of the rotor magnetic field with respect to rotor, speed of the rotor magnetic field with respect to stator, and speed of the rotor magnetic field with respect to the stator magnetic field. So let's see the solution. Here the frequency is 50 Hz, the number of pole is 6 pole, and the slip is given as 5%. So initially we can calculate the synchronous speed 120 F upon P. So it will be 120 into 50 upon 6, and that will be 1000 rpm. This is the synchronous speed. So the speed of the rotor is ns into 1 minus s. So it will be 1000 into 1 minus s. S is 5% or 0.05. The value will be 950 rpm. So this is the speed of the rotor. Now the rotor induced EMF frequency F dash, that is S into F. S here is 5% or 0.05, and the supply frequency is 50 Hz. So it will be 2.5 Hz. Now the speed of the rotor magnetic field. So we have already calculated the speed of the rotor with respect to the stator. So this is the solution of first question. Frequency of the rotor current. So this is the solution of the second question. Then speed of the rotor magnetic field with respect to the rotor. So the speed of the rotor magnetic field is represented as ns dash. It will be equal to 120 F dash upon P. So what is it? It is the speed of the rotor magnetic field with respect to the rotor. And when we calculate the speed of the magnetic field, we consider the frequency of the supply or the frequency of the EMF. Here the frequency of the rotor EMF is F dash. So the magnetic field which is produced in the rotor, it can be calculated as 120 F dash upon P. So F dash is 2.5, and the number of pole is same as that of number of pole in the stator, that is 6. So after calculation we'll get 50 rpm. So this is the speed of the rotor magnetic field with respect to the rotor. That is the solution of third question. Now the speed of the rotor magnetic field with respect to the stator. Here we can consider the structure of stator and rotor. The magnetic field in the stator is rotating with the speed of ns. The rotor is rotating with speed of nr, and the magnetic field of the rotor is rotating with the speed of ns dash with respect to the rotor. Therefore, if we consider the magnetic field of the rotor with respect to the stator, so it will be the magnetic field of a rotor with respect to stator, it will be equal to the speed of the rotor plus speed of rotor magnetic field with respect to rotor. So here the speed of the rotor is 950 rpm. This is the speed of the rotor with respect to the stator. And speed of the rotor magnetic field with respect to rotor is 50. Therefore, speed of the rotor magnetic field with respect to the stator is also 1000 rpm. So this is the solution of the fourth part. Again, the magnetic field speed of the magnetic field of rotor with respect to stator can be calculated like the speed of the rotor, because the rotor is rotating with a constant speed with respect to the stator, which is 950 rpm, and the rotor magnetic field is rotating with a speed of 50 rpm, that is with respect to the rotor. So the stationary part, that is the stator, with respect to the stator, the rotor is rotating with a speed of 950 rpm, and with respect to the rotor, its magnetic field is rotating with a speed of 50 rpm. Therefore, the speed of the rotor magnetic field with respect to the stator will be the sum of the rotor speed and the speed of the rotor magnetic field with respect to the rotor. So it is 950 plus 50, that is 1000 rpm. Now the last part, the speed of the rotor magnetic field with respect to the stator magnetic field. As we can see that the speed of the stator magnetic field with respect to the stator is synchronous speed, that is 1000 rpm. And just now we have calculated the speed of the rotor magnetic field with respect to stator. It is also 1000 rpm. Therefore, the speed of the rotor magnetic field with respect to stator magnetic field will be equal to 1000 minus 1000, and that will be equal to 0 rpm. Because with respect to the stator magnetic field is also rotating with the speed of 1000 rpm, and rotor magnetic field is also rotating with the speed of 1000 rpm. Therefore, the relative speed between the two magnetic fields will be 0 rpm. So this is the solution of the fifth part. So that is the complete solution. Thank you.